Well, the crash is here. It happened. It's happening currently. Bitcoin and crypto seeing a across the board correction, a nice juicy one at that. We're going to be discussing that. What are some of the reasons behind it? Of course, we've been talking about the extreme greed in the market recently with just stupid degeneracy happening over on Solana with people sending tens of millions of dollars, people just putting up Solana addresses on Twitter. Wild stuff. We're going to be diving into some of the numbers, some of the reasons dragging the market down beyond just excessive greed. We also want to talk about the Ethereum ETF, some other altcoin news for you. And stick around in the second half of the video with answering your questions. Let's get into it. We're going to start off with a history lesson. Have a look here. And I did not put the thing on the screen. Okay, hold on a second. We're going to start with a history lesson after I put the thing on the screen. Then we'll do the history lesson. Okay, here we go. There we go. All right, there we got it. There's the chart. All right, chart time. So last time we started into price discovery for Bitcoin. So we're talking back in the day here, guys. Okay, late 2020. What happened? Well, we had our first go at kind of just about touching to the previous high, followed by a 17% correction. Then we just tipped over by a few dollars into a new high. Then we had a 13% correction. Now, this malarkey, if you will, lasted from the 25th of November all the way until the mid-December base. It's about 3 weeks of chop, essentially, in the market. So there's that perspective to keep in mind here. Although at that point, chart-wise, we're in a slightly different situation where we actually just had a bearish cross, of course, come in before the highs actually hit. So a little bit different. History doesn't repeat, but does kind of rhyme, right? And then we look at this. So again, just illustrative history here. Post all-time high in late 2020, starting to price discovery, price rallies by 100% in a month. Then what do we have? A 27% correction in 3 days. Yikes. Overall, we saw the price come down by 31% during that period, and that lasted a month. We had a month correction in the market, essentially, where the price came down as much as 31%. People were losing their shit, man, freaking out. What's going on? It's over. This thing's a big scam. Let's sell up and get the heck out of here. The sentiment tends not to change very much in these markets. You'll realize that after you've been here for a while. If you've been here for a while, then you already know. So let's take a look here. Our current correction, how scary and brutal has this been so far? Well, we're not actually that crazy at the moment. We've gone down a total of 16% as of right now from the recent highs. So we've gone back to the price of way back here to 6th of March, earlier this month. Perspective is important here because it's really interesting how psychologically we so over dramatize these price corrections while at the same time overemphasizing price gains. If I had told you 3 months ago that Bitcoin was going to be $63,000 today, you'd be like, holy shit, that's crazy. No way, $63,000. But because we've just come down 16% in a week, everyone's losing their minds. Yeah, it's all perspective, right? It's all perspective. Now, the big question on your mind is, well, what now, internet man? What now? Well, I'll tell you first and foremost, nobody knows. Everybody has their models and ideas. I'll tell you the key areas to watch out for. Again, keeping in mind that 30% correction can happen in these markets. The next major line of price support that we'd want to see hold, of course, is the 50-day exponential moving average. You can see that right here is just around $58,000 approximately. Okay. So not crazy dip from here. In that scenario, it means we're actually nearing the end. We only have another 5% down to go. However, we are in a very news event-driven cycle right now where if we see huge grayscale outflows tomorrow and the day after and the day after, and if everybody's spooked on Wall Street and they don't want to buy, they only want to buy at $73,000. They don't want to buy at $63,000. Come on, only chumps buy at $63,000. The real Chads, they buy at 73, man. Anyway, If we go down a bit further, then hey, it's not that crazy, okay? Perspective again. But we could see some big outflows from Grayscale, and Wall Street might be spooked. Remember, these guys, all these dudes who bought at 73K are freaking out right now, man. They're calling BlackRock and saying, "Hey, man, I got to get out of this thing. It's going to go down." I heard a cartoon llama on X saying the price is going to go down farther. Hey, look at this. Would this challenge you? Would this challenge your belief structure in the market cycle? What if that happened? What if this happened right here? I'm not saying this most likely scenario. I'm putting this up here just to get you thinking. What would happen to your brain if any of these scenarios were happen? Well, a 28% correction down here to around $52,000. In my mind, that would be sort of the most extreme extent of the sell-off. To my mind, we'll see. I'd like to see the 50-day exponential moving average hold. Generally, during a bull market cycle, you have multiple retests of the 50-day EMA. Sometimes you will dip below it briefly, but it's usually not for long to continue the uptrend, okay? But what if we saw the price come all the way back down to retest this area of previous resistance as an area of support now? Well, that would be interesting, wouldn't it? That would be very, very interesting. And of course, if we change the thing up a little bit here and go out to the weekly, guess what? By the time we were to get down there, we'd probably approximately be coming on to the weekly 50-week EMA. So again, a possible area there. I'm not saying it's going back that far. I think when we start seeing price go down, people tend to over exaggerate how low things can go. You're already going to be seeing calls for it's the end of the bull market. Everything's over. We're going to zero. It's going back to 20K, blah, 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 blah. Okay. You'll hear a lot of that now. One thing definitely keep an eye out for, though. Let's see how the weekly keeps going on the MACD. I mean, you got to keep in mind, we've had a pretty wild run here so far. Just look at that weekly MACD, okay? We could have a bearish cross on that sooner than later, especially if we have weeks on end of negative price action. So these are all things for us to keep in mind, okay? Well, at the same time, reminding ourselves that this kind of stuff is normal right there. So, okay. Let's just keep all these things in mind. Sorry, but this, by the way, this way, if we got down as far as the 50-week EMA, much lower than the 52K. Sorry, that's up here. That would be a much bigger dip, but still not insane. Still not insane. I don't think we're going to get down there. I think you'll see a lot of people giving a lot of bad takes about this being the end and it's all over, blah, 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 when it's probably not the most likely scenario. Again, my initial area of interest is here, around $58,000. That would be an area I'd really like to see hold if we go down further. Okay. Okay. Fun meme to share with you. So true, isn't it? Nobody wants to buy the dips. Everybody wants to buy the rips. There's a lesson there. Nice chart. Okay. A nice chart here from CryptoCon saying Bitcoin is facing resistance for the first time in a while. At all-time highs, which is completely natural. Our cycle is heating up, but it's not over. The monthly relative vigor index has crossed a 0.21 value, 0.21 value, which in the past has marked a cycle top to come in 10 months. December of this year would put it at that. Well, that's interesting. He says corrections reduce the risk of parabolic price action. That could bring a double top, which is tricky to navigate. Bitcoin continues to respect this data, whether the cycle is accelerated or not. So there's another one in the corner for accelerated cycle theory, whether or not that's what plays out. Food for thought. Food for thought, right? Bitcoin ETF flow data from BitMEX Research. We can see we had $154 million out total net outflow yesterday, thanks to Grayscale selling $642 million of the Bitcoin yesterday. Great news, of course. The sooner Grayscale gets rid of their Bitcoin, the sooner we can stop worrying about Grayscale dumping their damn Bitcoin. European Bitcoin ETP products, basically ETFs. The top 6 ETPs have had $500 million outflow since 11 January 2024. Now, to be fair, none of these European products have ever been super huge in value. Don't know why. Why the Europeans don't like buying Bitcoin on the stock market, but they don't. There you go. And current data for today, by the way, we had another Grayscale outflow day, 442 million out today from Grayscale. If, of course, Fidelity and BlackRock can make up the difference, we shall see. Steven asks, why is Grayscale selling so much? Remember, it's not Grayscale specifically, although they have got permission to sell their Bitcoin, but it's the people in Grayscale who don't want to pay the 1.5% fees. Grayscale has disgustingly high fees compared to all the other Bitcoin ETF providers. And a lot of people are just basically stuck in regards that they may not want to have that capital gains event by selling, but some of them might be willing to do that. Now, if they think the market's going to go down farther and they just want to get out, and they'll take the tax hit. So this is what's going on over at Grayscale. But hey, guys, it's not all bad. It's not all bad out here, okay? Wu Blockchain reporting that Japan's government pension investment fund, the world's largest pension fund with 1.5 trillion under management, announced it will seek information on business diversification, including Bitcoin, gold, forests, and farmland. Now, let's be very clear. This is just a request for information. They're just starting off into that foray. It doesn't mean that they're going to invest $1.5 trillion in Bitcoin. It doesn't mean they're going to invest a single yen into Bitcoin. But they could, and we could be heading in that direction. Okay? So that's interesting. That's very, very interesting, okay? There's lots of buyers out there, and all of this short-term bullshit ends up just being that. I know it's easy to get a bit worried about these things, especially if you have not been around in market cycles, but anybody who's been here for a while, it's all just par for the course when it comes to a bull market cycle. Hey, real quick shout out to today's sponsor, of course, which is iTrust. Guys, if you want a tax-efficient way to be doing crypto, iTrust could be an interesting opportunity for you. You can bring over your existing IRA. You can start a new one. You can roll over your 401k or whatever other retirement vehicle you are using. You can come here and do 1,000 different trades on iTrust, never hit a taxable event once because you've wrapped it all in a tax-efficient platform. Pretty cool, right? They got all the popular coins, Dogecoin, Polkadot, Ethereum, Solana, Bitcoin, of course. And if you're thinking, well, I'll just trade a Bitcoin ETF, I don't want to use something like this. Well, sure, you can do a Bitcoin ETF. They're only open Monday, 9 to 5, excluding bank holidays. And of course, it's only Bitcoin. If you want to be trading where the big gains are going to be during a market cycle, that's altcoins. Okay, that's altcoins. So you'll have great advantages by using a tax structure like this. And of course, you can also diversify on the real gold and silver. Bank some of your profits in that perhaps as you go throughout the cycle. And that's the real stuff held by Kitco. And they do in-kind withdrawals for both their crypto and, of course, for the gold and silver. There you go. If you want to check out iTrust and start your account, use the link in the description. You'll get a $100 funding bonus. Thanks again to iTrust for sponsoring today's stream. So, Ethereum, look at this. Boom. 22% down from recent highs. The end of times is here. It has taken out its 50-day EMA. Okay. Okay, Ethereum. Let's see a little turnaround here, buddy. Next up, 200-day EMA all the way down here around $2,500, which was a major area of price resistance previously. You know, that would be one hell of a retest if it did come into play. But let's see how the markets play out again. Altcoins always have bigger corrections as well as bigger pumps compared to Bitcoin. Now, why are people perhaps getting a little overly pessimistic on Ethereum right now? Well, as ETF analyst James Seifert points out, he says, my cautiously optimistic attitude for ETH ETFs has changed from recent months. We now believe these will ultimately be denied on May 23rd for this round. The SEC has not engaged with the issuers on Ethereum specifics, exact opposite of Bitcoin ETFs this fall, which reminds us of our conversations last week when we were referencing Eleanor Tourette, and she was saying that people she's been talking to at the SEC are basically saying that Gary Gensler believes he's done enough. He's satisfied BlackRock and all those other people, the industry, and he doesn't need to do anything else. He doesn't need to give them any more bones. He's pissed off. He had to give him a Bitcoin ETF, and he doesn't want to do an Ethereum ETF until potentially forced by the courts to do so. And of course, if there is an Ethereum ETF denial, expect lawsuits. The SEC will be in court and get their asses handed to them again, wasting more taxpayer dollars and everybody's time again. This is how they protect you, guys. This is the SEC protecting you by screwing you over and limiting your choice of products. But again, big picture, we will get an Ethereum ETF eventually. Why? Because BlackRock wants it. That's why. It may not happen on May 23rd. It might happen later this year. It might happen early next year. Maybe that'll be the market topping event next year, for example. But they're here. The big money guys are here. Look at this. BlackRock launches digital asset fund that deposits $100 million in USDC on the Ethereum network. Those gas fees, though, bro. Man, they put $100 million on chain, but they must have paid like $50 in gas fees. Should have used Solana. Guys, jokes. The big money doesn't care about $50 gas fees. It's a joke to them, all right? We're talking about retail people coming in. It's not great for your average dude. For BlackRock, they don't care. They pay $1,000 fee, a $10,000 fee. It's irrelevant to them. But here you go, BlackRock launching major stuff on chain, and we're going to continue to see this. This is a big moment for crypto overall. We've seen other banks, Banco Santander, Societe Generale, they've been launching different stuff on Ethereum and on chain. So we've seen these experiments already, but it's BlackRock this time, guys. Come on, $100 million USDC, boom, boom. That's big. That is big for sure. Hey, thinking about AI narrative, this is interesting. Look at this. Saudi Arabia looking to back tech startups tied to AI with $40 billion. Now, obviously, this is not directed at crypto stuff per se. You never know. We could see some crypto protocols get investments from this fund. We have definitely seen, for example, the UAE has been pretty actively investing in all kinds of crypto startups. There are different wealth funds, the Abu Dhabi and Dubai wealth funds, UAE stuff. They've been doing that. Okay. So maybe some money will come to crypto, but regardless whether it does or not, the money behind AI right now is huge. Think about this, $40 billion, which Saudi Arabia is going to be investing, is more money than the entire market capitalization of all AI coins combined. Okay. That's crazy. Hey, quick update from AIT Protocol. Their Einstein AIT subnet registrations. They've successfully transitioned from subnet number 5 to subnet number 3 on BitTensor. Leaderboard coming soon. Continuing to crawl up there. There are some interesting low cap plays like AIT, like Edge Matrix Computing. Invested in both those, of course, by the way, guys. If you ever want to see my investments, whether that is my current portfolio, my venture investments, as well as risk disclosures, because of course investing in crypto is risky and you can lose all your money. You can find that in the description here on YouTube or on the pinned comment on X. Magic Square staking has gone live as well, by the way. So what's interesting, they actually have a launch pad coming up. Now, I already took my initials out on Magic Square. So as a venture round investor, private round investor, I got my initial distribution of coins. That was about the initial investment back approximately. I still have a bunch of coins that'll vest over, start vesting in about 4 months and vest over like a year or year and a half, something like that. Anyway, why I'm bringing this up is they're bringing a launch pad coming soon. These guys are backed by BINANCE, by the way. So they're bringing out an on-chain launch pad. So this is pretty interesting. Look, launch pads tend to do very well in bull markets. Ape Terminal is another one. They've been doing some pretty big ones recently, so that's pretty exciting to see that going down. Some big sales over there on Ape Terminal. So will Magic Square be able to, I guess, bring the magic out and bring some big launches out? Well, let's watch and see what their first few launches are like, because if they get a few really good token sales early on, that could bring a lot of enthusiasm for Magic Square. Okay. Savage app is back, by the way. This is something we covered in, oh gosh, I feel like 2021 or early 2022 or something like that. Anyway, these guys, they're back. They're announcing a huge partnership with Samsung. So basically, let's dive into this. So the smart TV app is going to now be integrating with what Savage is doing. So this is pretty gosh darn big. Let's look here. So content streaming. The Savage Smart TV app comes preloaded on 30 million Samsung QLED TVs worldwide. Not only is it the first Web3 enabled streaming app, it's also one of the first platforms capable of streaming in 8K resolution. That's pretty big. Being partnered with Samsung and the 8K Association means Savage is building the future of the creator economy with cutting-edge tools. Savage is a top launch partner with Samsung Highlights as well, an exciting new short-form video app. Currently in beta, the Highlights app delivers content directly to the lock screen of mobile device users. Very interesting. The Savage Marketplace is built for seamless user onboarding. By partnering with Xerox, Polygon, and MoonPay, users can create an account in one click with their email address and then purchase content with a wide array of options. With the Savage token operating in the background. Okay, so you can just pay fiat. It's all in the background there. So pretty cool stuff. Pretty cool stuff. Huge partnership, of course, for such a low market cap coin. So yeah, pretty awesome stuff. Pretty awesome stuff for those guys. Also, Puff the Magic Dragon meme coin. Meme coins. I feel like we have to have a bit of a, rinse out for our sins on meme coins recently, man. It's been pretty crazy. But Puff, big meme coin on Mantle, backed by the Mantle Foundation, thus meaning it's backed by the guys over at Bybit. Anyway, somebody purchased a huge amount of this the other day, 7-figure purchase of this. I think at the current market cap, it's very interesting. Now I've put, I was a private round investor in this one. I also put a further 10 ETH into it. So yeah, we're waiting on that one. I hope it does well. It's going to be interesting playing out over the next few months with its sort of storyline approach and the end result here of what can be with their sort of final decision around the token. Will you burn your puff or will you hold on to your puff? If you burn your puff, you then get a second token, which has some very interesting relationship with the total Mantle Ethereum, which is like $1 billion plus war chest from the Mantle guys. So interesting stuff without a doubt. Hey, in other airdrop news, because Puff is doing an airdrop, by the way, in case you wanted more information on that, go check it out. But Puff is doing an airdrop. But guess who else is doing an airdrop? And that is DED. The DED Foundation met today as planned, and in the interest of market and community demand, initiated the immediate taking of the snapshot, which has been done. Further details will be announced soon. So we told you multiple times, you got to get your DOT off the exchanges. Get it on a wallet that you control the keys to. I hope that you did that. I hope you were listening when we talked about that. And now you'll be getting an airdrop. I think it was, I can't remember what it was. It's 1,000 DED per DOT or something like that. It'll be interesting to see how these ones play out. DED, Foxy coming from the guys at MetaMask Consensus Linea. That's a new one coming up. Puff, of course, backed by Mantle. Will these meme coins that are sort of backed by much more legitimate players end up doing quite well? Or will it not attract the degenerates to pump these coins like crazy? Do they just want to send millions of dollars to random dudes on Twitter and then pump those coins to the moon? Is this what everybody really wants? Or do they want a better class of meme coin? Interesting to see, regardless of how it all plays out. Guys, real quick note, if you're not signed up to the newsletter yet, get signed up to the newsletter. Best dev newsletter in crypto. And of course, you can join our 10K to 100K challenge. You can enjoy that. It's going to be a lot of fun. We're doing pretty well on it so far. Lots of airdrop farming in that strategy. So it's going to be very cool, very cool. And of course, you can just get all the other great information every single week. Airdrops, DeFi tutorials, altcoin charts, and on and on and on. So awesome stuff, guys. Check it out. Link in the description. Now, let's do some questions. Let's hang out. Let's talk crypto, because that's always a good time hanging out and talking crypto with you guys. So don't forget to keep hydrated, everybody, with the soft, delicious bubbles of Perrier. No, I don't know what the Perrier thing is, man. I bought a couple cases of Perrier. It's been sitting around. It's been good. It's been good. Anyway. But hit me up with your questions here, guys. And we will be answering those for you momentarily. Let me just take care of this dude trolling the comments over there on Twitter, so we keep the feed clean here for you guys. There we go. All right, so let's do it. So, what do you guys want to talk about? Hit me up with your questions. Let's dive in. Let's talk crypto for a few minutes here. So, what do we got here? Van says, I want your price prediction for Bitcoin. Well, as I've said many times, my sort of initial number was around 150K for this cycle. But with all the Bitcoin ETF inflow, we could push higher than that. The 3.618 Fibonacci line brings us up to around like $215,000. So we could see as high as maybe 250K, maybe this cycle. That's anywhere from 10 to 18, 24 months from now almost. So keep that in mind. It might be a while before we get there, but that's kind of been my general thought process here on how far we could go. So, okay. A lot of that depends on a lot of things. And of course, when markets really start pumping, if we actually do get to 250K or 215K, everyone's going to start calling for 300, 500, and that's a time of extreme danger. Just keep that in mind. Okay, where are we up to? Lark with hat coin. No Lark with hat. Tax question. Is it safe to send your API keys to these tax companies like CoinLedger and Coinly? Yeah, because those APIs are just read-only. The danger with APIs is when you have APIs that have permissions to actually trade for you, and then the API gets hacked and your exchange account gets screwed, and yeah, that's problematic. That's problematic, okay? Okay. Wall Street is going to tank the crypto market. Well, Wall Street is not here for you. Wall Street's not your buddy. Wall Street's not your friend. Right? Wall Street's here for Wall Street, and they're going to do whatever they want to do. And the biggest market manipulators in the history of the universe are now in Bitcoin. So you got to keep that in mind. All right. As we discussed before, these guys are not here for the revolution. All right. These guys are here for themselves and to make a buck, which is fine. They're allowed to do that. But welcoming them in is like welcoming, that drunk, obnoxious dude to your party who's going to hit on your girlfriend and drink all your beer and then, take a crap in the middle of the floor and then walk out the door and like, well, who is that guy? That guy had a lot of money. Okay. Anyway, Wall Street, man. All right, let's catch up here. Thoughts on Ethereum Classic? Yeah, it's a pile of garbage, personally, my opinion. I have no idea why it still is in the top 100, let alone the top 50. Nobody uses it for anything. Okay, I know you're gonna be like, maybe not you, but maybe somebody's like, but there's like that one thing you can do, and there's like something nobody gives a crap. Nobody's talking about Ethereum Classic, man. Personally, my opinion, I wouldn't buy it. There's so many other exciting things happening in the crypto space beyond Ethereum Classic. Now, if you want to mine and dump Ethereum Classic because you have some GPUs sitting around, fine. That makes sense. I get that. But that's basically the only use case for it these days. Blank Noodle, great question. How do I trade Ethereum altcoins without paying crazy gas fees? Do I use some sort of layer 2? Well, the yes and no. Unfortunately, for some reason, some altcoins only deploy on layer 1 Ethereum, which is they want to get the liquidity, right? There's a lot of money on layer 1 Ethereum, but man, it's a crappy experience for the average person to try and do anything over there. So you're not going to get all coins, but a lot of coins are on one of the layer 2s. So you just need to figure out where that's actually happening and if that's even possible for you to do. Let's take an example. I'll show you how to figure this out real quick. Let's take an example here for one that I know is on a few different chains here. Just got to find the right coin to give you the appropriate example here. Wouldn't want to give you an example and have it not be relevant. Let me just see. Gotta find the right coin. It's actually pretty crazy to think about how many are not on layer 2. Okay, here we go. Let's go ahead and share screen here real quick. So I'm over here on CoinGecko, coingecko.com. So you can see here different markets where things are trading. Of course, mostly centralized exchanges for most coins, but you can see here contract information. If you click on that, those 3 little dots there, you'll see that the synthetics token, the SNX token in this example, is available on multiple different chains. So its contract has been released on multiple different chains. So we know, for example, they're on Optimism. So you can go to Optimism, use Uniswap on Optimism, and buy your SNX tokens there instead of trying to do it on main chain Ethereum. So that would be a way to partake in that without paying main chain Ethereum fees. So I hope that's a useful answer for you. Where are we up to? I think everyone's having some comments in the chat about me talking about or not talking about certain coins, man. I'll tell you this, you can't talk about every coin. There's tens of thousands of cryptocurrencies out there. And I know a lot of people have what's called bagitis. And you have your bags. And you believe that your bags are the best, perfect, immaculate conception, perfect cryptocurrency bags that are going to have the absolute maximum gains. And anybody who doesn't exclusively only talk about your bags is an asshole. I get it. Welcome to crypto. You got bagitis. Check your biases, because I'll tell you what, most of the cryptocurrencies are going to do okay this cycle. And it's impossible for any one person to talk about all of them. And I know, guys, whether it's like, I don't know, ICP or Hashgraph or Algorand or XRP or Cardano. Like, I don't talk about many of these coins very much. I just don't pay that much attention to them, man. I can't pay attention. I'm not like, the Wall Street Journal here, like having perfect, unbiased journalistic integrity. We got to give every coin its equal day in the sun. We got to have equal outcomes for everybody. It's not what we do, man. It's not what we do. I don't talk about every coin in the universe. I talk about the coins that I know about, and it's hard to even keep as much knowledge as I do about everything going on in the space. That's my full-time job, and I have no idea what half the cryptocurrencies do. How the hell can anybody? It's pretty crazy, man. Muzo 20. That's a good one. Let's talk about that. Any updates on the market cycle? Are you more confident on the notion that this will be a standard 4-year cycle and not accelerated, given this well-needed correction? We'll see. I think until proven otherwise, I'm still on the 4-year bandwagon. However, we have seen some pretty big run-ups recently, and we probably need a pretty decent rinse out in the market to just dial the greed down a little bit, dial the insanity we've been seeing down a little bit. That would make me more hopeful for a 4-year cycle. If we see too much crazy too soon, then maybe we are in accelerated cycle theory, okay? And obviously, we need to look for a lot of indicators. We've seen a couple indicators saying, hey, things are getting a bit overheated, but not all the indicators. We want to see all the indicators, or at least, let's say, plurality of indicators showing that we're overheated, things are a bit too crazy, okay? Then you'll say, okay, well, if that happens in November of this year or November of next year, then you can look and go, market's probably a bit overheated. And maybe we get something like we had in 21, where you get basically a lot of that stuff flashing. Market goes down 50% or something like that. And then we went back up to hit a new all-time high. So you could see those kind of things happen too. Nobody can predict what's going to happen to the market. No one's got a crystal ball, right, essentially. But we all hope for the best. Okay. Invictus Training Systems. If Perrier sponsored but paid you in Litecoin, would you still take it? Yes. And then I'd sell it for cash. They can pay in Litecoin. That's fine. I'm not, I don't hate Litecoin. They can pay me in Litecoin and I'll just sell it for cash. It does have functionality. I'm just saying the functionality nowadays is not not so strong, I think. The value proposition of Litecoin in 2017 versus 2024 is a very, very different beast. 2024, it doesn't feel super relevant anymore, but hey, Perrier, I'm waiting. No, I'm just jokes, guys. It's jokes. Jokes about Perrier, but real comments on Litecoin. Yeah. Okay, one or two more questions here, guys, and we'll finish up for today. Bcash. Lark, what lending platforms can you recommend, says Nigel? Well, certainly nothing is centralized. We've learned that lesson before. In terms of using anything in DeFi, you have to be ready to accept that you can have a smart contract hack and lose all the money sitting there. Yeah. So there you go. You gotta be careful. If you're gonna do any of that stuff, you want to do it on chain. But if you do it on chain, it's just, look, I do some lending. I've put my Ethereum, or not all my Ethereum, but a good chunk of my Ethereum into MakerDAO because I look at it as a reputable platform that's been around for a very long time. They're battle tested, and I put my money over there, taking loans versus that to go and do farming with and stuff like that, because why not? But I also do that on the realization that that shit could get hacked one day and I lose all my money. So I would never put 100% of anything on any one platform because you just don't know. Centralized platforms, bad. Decentralized platforms, slightly better, but also often problematic. Let's put it that way. So be careful. Okay. Jaden, do you think that do you think AVAX can reach $500 a cycle? Maybe. We have to see how high the cycle goes and how crazy things get. That wouldn't be dramatically high over its previous all-time high. So yeah, it wouldn't surprise me at all to see it hit those kind of price highs, cycle peak, or maybe even a bit higher. Okay. Dan says, how long should we wait to buy the dip? Nobody knows how low it's going to go or when it's going to recover, right? Maybe you want to set up targets if you want to have certain percentage targets, like, okay, if it goes down 20%, I'm going to put money in. If it goes down and hits the 50-day EMA, I'm going to put money in. Of course, then you have the realization that you might not hit those targets. So it might not go that low. Maybe it goes lower. This is the problem. That's why dollar cost averaging is generally pretty good. And usually, I would say if you're buying on sort of a red day like today, probably going to be just fine throughout the cycle. And you just got to think about risk reward. Okay, let's say you buy today at $63,000, $62,000, whatever the price is. What is price right now? Let's have a look. $62,500. Okay, let's say you buy there, and then it goes down to 58K. Well, say la vie, because it's probably going to go up to 100K in the not so distant future. So you missed out on a little bit of gains, but you better than buying at 73K, right? So try to think too much about that. Getting it perfect, good enough is usually enough. And as long as you're not buying like when everyone's losing their minds with greed and euphoria, you probably do pretty okay. I already see a lot of pessimism on the timeline today. I'm not saying you should run out and buy today, obviously. You might get better price points later, but the risk reward of buying after a 17, 18% correction is a lot better than buying literally when you hit the new all-time high. So perspective there for you. What is this? Camino screwed their users. Somebody else asking thoughts on the Camino airdrop. Have they opened up the claim window yet? I haven't seen. I'll have to go and have a look before I have a better opinion on that. How much does Grayscale have to sell? Well, Grayscale's customers have a lot to sell. Grayscale, the digital currency group, or the Genesis, they have it's all part of the digital currency group umbrella company. They got a lot. They got a lot of Bitcoin personally, but they're the biggest holders of GBTC. But GBTC's customers, Grayscale's customers, have many, many billions left. And a lot of that's going to just keep exiting slowly until it's largely bled out. Okay. Guys, I think we'll finish up there for today. Lots of great questions coming through, lots of great altcoin questions and stuff. But hey, we'll be doing this again tomorrow. So come and join the party then, and we'll talk more altcoins, talk more shop, and I'll see you later. Peace out.